Here we are on Locked On Blue Devils. A very special guest joins me today on the show. Another class of 2026 Duke football commit, Chadwicke Cannon Jr., kind enough to spend some time with me here. Really great to see you, Chadwicke. Excited to hear about your journey so far in football and the decision ultimately to play for Duke. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for asking. And again, thank you for taking some time to be here with me today. Simply put, easy first question that I ask all the commits. Why Duke? Why did you make this decision to commit?
I feel like they were kind of like the first ones like to show me like real love, you know what I'm saying? I felt like their scheme like really fit me when I went down the first time. They explained like how I fit in their scheme, and I really like the coaches. I like how they act towards their players, and I feel like I'd be a good fit there, so that's why I chose Duke.
What's that process? What's the timeline like? This is one of the first schools you say that reaches out to you. How do you first hear from Duke? How do the Blue Devils get on your radar?
Well, I mean, I don't think they were the first school, but they were definitely like something I was definitely interested in, going to. So, for me, they said that they kind of seen me like a little later, like during mid season. So, like, I was talking with Coach Devon, Coach Infante. They told me they really like my film. They want me to come down there. So we were chatting for a while. I was supposed to come down to a game, like a regular season game, but I ended up not being able to make it. So I actually officially went down there in spring, and they offered me in spring, and I was like really excited. I was really happy. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of emotions. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be it. So
Yeah, tell me about that. The first time you get to Durham, the first time you get there to campus at Duke, like what are you taking in? What are you noticing? What stands out to you?
well, I like the area. Like when I went, the trees were blossoming. It was a lot of tree blossoms, and it was
Springtime,
just
absolutely. Yeah.
beautiful. It was beautiful up there. So yeah.
And that just and then the campus has a really nice feel to it. What did you notice?
Like a lot of the architecture is like Gothic kind of, and it's like a little bit, yeah, it's like really cool. So like it was cool to see that, not just like modern, like everybody else has. So yeah, it's definitely different.
A lot of people feel like they're walking on the set of Harry Potter or at
Oh, yeah,
Hogwarts when they're
yeah,
there on campus, man.
yeah,
So when we get to the football side of things on your visit, what does that look like? Were you able to instantly meet with the coaches? Kind of walk us through that.
yeah. So when I got there, they drove me up on a golf cart to like the D line room, and I met Coach Infante. He had a big smile on his face, gave me a big hug, big bear hug, and I met Coach Devine and all that. So
And for clarification, was this on your unofficial visit?
yeah, unofficial,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Awesome. And so during that timeline, I mean, what are you hoping to hear for folks and for future recruits, even when you're on an unofficial visit? What is it that you were wanting to hear from Duke?
Just to see how I fit in their scheme and see if I'm really like the person for them, or or if I'm the guy for them, or are they the fit for me. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously that went well. You enjoyed what you heard there, and you get the opportunity to go back for the official visit. You commit and want to play football at Duke in the future. Let's talk about the player that you are, Chadwicke. How would you describe your game? If no one's ever seen Chadwicke Cannon Jr. play football before, how would you describe your game?
I feel like I'm very physical. I use my hands a lot, and I feel like you could see me on the field. Like I feel like I'm very, very I'm very bully ball. That's how I would describe it. 2 words: bully ball. That's it. You know.
Use your strength to your advantage, right?
Yes, sir. And I have good
Yeah.
hands as well.
I notice in your background as well that weightlifting has been something that you've been a big standout in. And Chadwicke, truthfully, not all the states in our country support, like it's not sanctioned everywhere that you get to participate in
Yeah.
weightlifting. What is that like, and how big of an impact has that been on your football career?
Well, I came in my freshman year not knowing much about the weightlifting team or whatnot, but I got to give a lot of shout out to my coaches, Coach Nelson, Coach Manello, and Coach Sylvie, my weightlifting coaches. I feel like they were like a really big step for me to get from where I am to like where I'm at now. So I feel like they did really help. In our school, we're on one of the top weightlifting schools in Florida, so we have like I think the most weightlifting champion titles from like since we started the school. It's like really, yeah, our school's like really good at weightlifting. So yeah.
What is this like? I mean, is it, are we counting the weight here? Is it a time aspect? I mean, seriously, there's so many people who are unfamiliar with the weightlifting sport. What does that look like?
So there's 3 events, but they split it up into 2 categories: Olympic and traditional. Traditional is benching and clean and jerk, and Olympic is snatch and clean and jerk. So you would add your 2 lifts together to get your total, and that tells you like how how far you are, your place, basically. Yeah.
What did you notice from weightlifting that helped translate to the football field?
I feel like that's probably where I got all my strength from, my power. I think football strength and like regular strength are two different things, but it definitely translated for me. So yeah.
How long have you been playing football?
Since I was 8.
Okay. And what was it about the game that you loved?
Well, first, I'm not even gonna lie. First, I was like a little lazy kid, didn't really like to get outside. My dad, I love my dad, senior, Chadwicke Cannon Jr. He put me on football, told me I gotta stick with it, and I ended up liking it when I was like 9. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be what I'm saying, yeah.
Were you like trying out multiple different sports and then figured out football was what you liked the most, or tell me about that in your childhood?
Yeah. First, well, yeah, my dad kind of like put me into sports. First, we started playing YMCA soccer and basketball.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I was like, I don't really like this that much. And then football came along. I was like, yeah, because I like to be aggressive and physical. So, I like football. That's what I stuck with. So,
but I mean, so many coaches and so many great athletes talk about the importance of being a versatile athlete when they're, not to be so focused on one. It's so easy to get burnt out if that's all you do at a young age. And so for you to have a little bit of a background doing various things, that's super impressive. So talking about your style of play, once again, you mentioned bully ball is kind of what you like to say if people have never seen you play before. How can you make that translate to the college game? Like, what are you hoping to bring to a Duke football defense?
Well, right now, I feel like that's what makes me stand out in high school. But when I get to college, all of the skill level is going to get shorter. Like everybody's going to be neck and neck. So I feel like when I get to college, my strength's going to be a big thing for me to improve on. So I could probably get some early reps as a freshman. But I feel like I need to work on my technique as well. So like quickness, ball get off hands, more finesse, all that. I need to get that up. So when I get to college, I can definitely get some reps.
And obviously that's going to be back in the weight room, right? Strength and conditioning, a little bit of your background there is going to help you make those improvements once it's time to get on the field. I want to hear a little bit more about this timeline. Let's jump back. The unofficial visit concludes. You head back down home. What are you thinking at that time?
Well, honestly, I don't even think I went home to think I was going to commit. Like we went back to the hotel. I was like very emotional. My mom, we were talking about with my parents. I was like, I just need some time to think, like process these emotions. And a couple of days later, I was like, I called them like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to, be a Duke football player. So yeah.
How excited was the coaching staff when they heard that from you?
Coach Infante, he was ecstatic. Coach Devon, we're all on FaceTime together. They're all excited. So, and he told me call Coach Diaz. He was like, yes, sir, let's go. So, that's what made it official.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've mentioned your position coaches there a couple of times here, but when you're going through the recruiting process, Chadwicke, it's really important to win over the head coach, right? And to be on good terms with him, and also just to realize this is a regular guy, and Manny Diaz, so many Duke fans are excited about him leading the program. What was that like for you? Tell me about getting to know Coach Diaz.
Well, actually, when I went on my unofficial, he's the one that actually offered me. So I went to his office. I met with him. We talked for a little minute. He's like, yeah, we want to offer you a scholarship. So like that was like really big for me. So yeah. And he's really, really cool guy. So yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about Coach Diaz that you got to know.
Okay, so when we went in the office, we kind of just like talked for a little minute, and then like he relates to my mom. My mom's from she's from Polk County. It's like little mini like tiny town, like middle of nowhere. And that's like because he was in Miami.
He's got Florida roots. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we kind of like yeah.
And so a lot of people talk about the importance of their parents being on this journey for them. And obviously the coaches are aware of that. They want to recruit the parents as well. What was that dynamic like for you throughout your recruiting journey?
Well, in my journey, I feel like they were definitely my mom and my dad were definitely a big part of it. So like, they felt like the same connection, same family that I felt when I went down to Duke. So they were talking about committing before I even said anything out of my mouth. Like they were saying, "Oh yeah, this has to be the one," because other schools aren't like as friendly as they were. So that's yeah.
How big of it? Talk about that relationship with your parents. Then, were you bouncing ideas off with them? How important was it for you to have them included in your decision?
Yeah, it's very important, honestly, because like if my parents are happy at the end of the day, like I can't be, I can't. Since
family's important to you, sure.
Of course, yes, of course. So that was just like a big decision. Like I feel like this was like the best thing I could have done. the best school. There was obviously other schools like that I probably could have went to and probably enjoyed it, but it's definitely not as big of a family thing that we had at Duke. So
you're going to play for Duke in the future, a class of 2026 commit. Excited to see you come and play for the Blue Devils. We'll get back to that in a moment, but I don't want to, rush time away here, Chadwicke. We still have a senior football season for you to get to compete in. How excited are you to put on your high school uniform for one more year?
I'm very excited. It's my last year. I got to show up for my boys. I'm definitely good. Well, I'm going to be a captain this year. I'm calling it right now. So I gotta be a leader in the weight room, leader on the field. That's definitely something like I really want to enjoy my last season. So yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. Beyond being the captain, what are some of the other goals that you've got for your senior year?
Actually, me and Aiden, I'm gonna show you on my phone. Me and Aiden have something. We have a little competition because we're planning to be roommates in the future. So
that's awesome.
So it's a long story, but anyways, we got some goals on my for the 26 season. 100 total tackles, 20 TFLs, 10 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. I have a personal goal, 4.840, first team all area, make 3 third round playoffs. I want to be a 4-star by the end of this, and that's how I want to end my high school career. But me and Aiden trying to see if we can get the best stats by the end of the year. So
that's a competitive competition, a competitive rivalry between future teammates. That's awesome. Tell me about Aiden Kane, somebody that is obviously going to be a part of this class as well, has committed to the program. What's that been like getting to know him, who's in that same position room with you? And then even beyond him, Chadwicke, I want you to talk about everybody in this recruiting class, getting to know your future teammates.
So Aiden, that's my twin. I'll be real, that's my twin, man. So when we got on the OV, we got there late. I met him in the lobby. That's like we actually we are the same, like kind of like the same person, honestly. Like we act the same, we like the same stuff. But like, yeah, I feel like him, that's like gonna be my guy for the next couple of years, next 4 years. So, and then we got Tyler, Sean, Dane. There's some new kids that recruited, but those are the people I met on my OV that are already committed.
Right.
There's some other recruits that committed, but we can't say who those are yet. But CJ just committed today on running back, really cool dude. But there's a lot of people that I feel like we're gonna be close when we get to Duke. So yeah.
What do you get? Is the coaching staff big on you guys kind of creating a culture amongst yourself? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I feel like they're like kind of the ones that God brought us together to get to know each other or whatnot. And then we made a group chat, so like we text on the regular, try and get to know each other even more. And we're trying to plan a game to get down to like all of us to go to Duke and just hang out, have fun with each other on that game day. So yeah.
Without a doubt, people are excited about the future of Duke football. What is that kind of message that you would give Duke football fans about what's to come?
I feel like we're gonna have a great future, great outcome. We went 9-4. Coach Diaz's first year there, and we're having a bigger recruiting class this year. So I feel like they should stay tuned to see what's for Duke's future.
Super excited to see you play for Duke, Chadwicke. Really appreciate the time here on the podcast with me today and YouTube show for folks to get to know you a little bit. How can they follow you, man? Plug your socials and how people can get tapped in with you.
Well, my Twitter's down there, Chadwicke Jr. 2026. My Instagram's W1CK, The Real Wick, and that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, we'll be sure to follow along and support you in the future. Thanks for being here today, Chadwicke.
Yes, sir. Thank you.